test, and we are doing, okay. So let me go over all the things that we have, and I might even be really nice and post all these notes that I have in case you haven't kept track of your notes. That would be amazing, right? Okay, so we started out this quarter with ethos, pathos, and logos. Remember what ethos meant?
Credibility.
Pathos.
Emotions.
Yeah, and then logos. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Okay, we talked about a rhetorical question is a question that you are asking, but you don't really expect an answer. You don't really need an answer. Justification. So justification referred to, we have this idea and now we need evidence to support why it's going to be a good idea. And so, for example, you all did those surveys. So handing out a survey is an example of getting justification. You found, okay, students would be willing to have this meal at this price point. 87% of them said yes. Okay, so that is justification. So statistics are a great way to justify something. Doing a market analysis and getting customer feedback. Dealing with objections. So we talked about that last week. We talked about if somebody says to you, I don't think that this is a good idea. I don't want to wear school uniforms, Miss Melissa. As Miss Melissa, to deal with that person's objective, you need to listen to them, affirm what you're feeling is valid. Let me tell you why it might benefit you. Could we talk about a compromise? That's that in a nutshell. Okay, we talked about motivating action today, so call to action. Know what your call to action needs to have in it. Know that it needs to be simple, but it needs to be direct. It needs to be specific. So keep that in mind when you're coming up with anything in your writing, especially with business writing. Being clear and specific with what you want people to do is vital. So for example, I want you to do this homework and turn it in Thursday. If I literally just say, hey, Parker, do the homework assigned and turn it in, that's not enough info for the majority of the students. You'll know your classmates. If I said, just make sure you do your homework, and I didn't give you like specifics, what page, what instructions to follow, when is it due, and repeat it probably how many times? 4 times is usually how many times I repeat it. Then you're not going to know what to do. Think of it like that you are giving instructions to high school kids. What do you need to do in order to do that? You also need to tell them how it benefits them, right? Like, this is homework grade. If you get a 0, you're going to fail. Okay. Glad we have that. Also, let's go back to ethos, pathos, and logos. I may give you some example of ad campaigns. And we looked at some of those at the beginning and talked about how they appeal to certain emotions. Do you remember the puppy dog and the Clydesdale horses, or the Budweiser horses? Okay, and that was supposed to appeal to pathos. And then we looked at an Apple commercial that had all these important figures throughout history, and that was supposed to appeal to ethos. And then we looked at Geico commercial that had statistics, or like, this is how much you'll save. That appeals to logos. So be able to identify, if I give you, here's a commercial, let me describe the commercial, what would that appeal to? Okay. I think that is it. Let me double check. Let me see if there was anything else. What are you whispering about?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. Be able to also write an ad for a product. Remember how we did that with like a pencil or a pen or something like that?
Like the radio?
Yeah, exactly. And be able to write an ad appealing to either pathos, logos, or ethos, or maybe all 3. Who knows? All right, so that is it. I will post these notes that are applicable to the test. I'm going to do that right this second, okay? Great. Perfect. Wonderful. Love that.